The facts in this case are not all that significant. Mount Isa Mines wanted to build a dredge spoil emplacement area on native title land to support its mining operations. The precise rights of the native title holders depended on whether this was within the definition of a right to mine or alternatively within the definition of an infrastructure facility. The Act contained a definition of infrastructure facility, and if the definition was exhaustive, then it didn't include the proposed facility. If the definition was not exhaustive, then it did include the proposed facility. Again though, this is a fairly standard type of issue for statutory interpretation. The challenge in this particular case was that the plain words of the Act seemed to make the definition exhaustive, whereas the very plain words of the explanatory memorandum tabled in Parliament when the law was passed seemed to make it clear that the definition was non-exhaustive. How does the court deal with such an inconsistency? Justice Edelman said, all context must be reconciled. There can only be one manifested parliamentary intention. Traditionally, the approach had been to begin with the words of the Parliament, and if those words could be given a clear meaning, that meaning should be applied. Extrinsic materials should only be used if there was an ambiguity. However, more recently, the High Court found that extrinsic materials should be used throughout the process of statutory interpretation. Justice Edelman said, an attempt to understand the meaning of speech without any context is like an attempt to understand the meaning of a painting before the paint is applied to the canvas. Context conveys meaning. Could that search for context, however, go so far as to allow the extrinsic material to prevail over the words written in the statute when the two were in disagreement? Justice Edelman said yes. Consideration of the weight of information in extrinsic materials does not prevent the reconsideration of even an apparently strong meaning of the statutory text and context within the Act, if the information in the extrinsic materials is particularly cogent, clear and specific. An explanatory memorandum, for instance, is an important and weighty extrinsic source of information. This decision, albeit by a single judge, breaks new ground, suggesting that in some circumstances the manifest parliamentary intention may carry more weight than the statutory words used to express that intention.